Story 1. Working 60 plus hours a week. Okay, if you own your business and or you love your work, that's cool. I get it. If you work for last name and last name XYZ, and you're sacrificing your life to make someone else money, you're just a mug. Story 2. Reading other people. Most of the people I've heard boast that they're good at reading people, knowing right away what kind of person they are based on their mannerisms and speech, often get misled by those who manipulate them. Sure, you can make some inferences based on those things, but it's just not possible to know what goes on in another person's head. Many people are very good at hiding their poor qualities and convincing you they are the opposite of what they are. Story 3. I've got strep throat, the flu, and a raging headache, and you don't see me calling off. Wow, you're really foolish then. Story 4. Chess. People use chess as an overall indicator of intelligence, as if being good at chess means you're naturally a genius. However, chess utilizes memory and strategic thinking, which, while good skills to have, are not complete indicators of intelligence. In reality, being good at chess just means you're good at chess. Story 5. I wouldn't call it a skill per se, but functioning on 4 hours of sleep a day. You're not as tired as I am. Look, I can be tired regardless if you slept for 4 hours or more or less. Just because I don't push myself to the limit with lack of sleep anymore doesn't mean I'm not tired. As far as functioning on 4 hours, no, you're not functioning, you're just going through the motions like a zombie through the day. Don't pretend it's anything else. Story 6. Driving. Everyone says they are a good driver, but when you look at them, they text and drive, speed, roll through stop signs, etc. Story 7. Being mature. If you are mature, you shouldn't have to say it. You would just be mature enough to know that you shouldn't say it. Story 8. Perfect pitch. Like, dude, I get it, you're special. Now, please stop telling me what key my microwave is in. Story 9. Multitasking actually slows you down and makes you less efficient overall. It's more efficient to put all your focus on one task at a time. I'm guilty of multitasking, but I'm not going to pretend it's a superpower. I do it to keep from getting bored. Story 10. Self-defense. Every overweight baby boomer thinks they would become Rambo if they had a chance to use their gun. Story 11. I think too many people brag about knowing how to cook. There are 2 flavors of this. There are those guys who don't actually know how to make much past eggs but brag about being great cooks, sometimes as a way of flirting. Then there's the other side of the coin of amateur chefs who really get into cooking as a hobby, which is awesome. But then, they punch down on everyone who doesn't know as much as they do. Wow, you still like drip coffee? I remember when I couldn't tell the taste of an inferior bean. The same ones who think they would have been best friends with Anthony Bourdain. They might not even be bad chefs. I just don't like when people are unkind about it. Story 12. Their work ethic, i.e., working over their 8-hour day so many days in a row, coming in super early or staying late every day. This is not a badge of honor to me. It's the inability to set a personal boundary. Will I work super hard during my allotted hours? You bet. Will I regularly stay past those hours? Nope. If they need more work done, they can hire more people or staff up with the ones they have. Story 13. How much time people devote to their jobs. People that boast endlessly about how hard they work and how many extra hours they put in are just communicating to me that they are the bigger sucker in the company and easier to exploit than the average person. Unless you have equity in the business or make great overtime and bonuses, there isn't much incentive to devote excess time to work if you're salaried. I enjoy my job, but I don't work excessive hours because there isn't much financial incentive for me to do so. I get paid regardless. I work to live, not live to work. Story 14. I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but basic survival skills. Don't get me wrong, they are good skills to have for many reasons. But people who possess these skills act like they are the most insanely superior people on this planet, and everyone else is a sucker and a loser. The thing is, most people will never have any kind of use for those skills unless they go on long hikes. Even in emergency situations, there are probably many kinds of skills and people that are needed. It's not just about how to make fire using 2 sticks. Story 15. Number of followers on social media. Pretending to be all entitled. Threatening to post unfavorable content about hotels if they do not get free suites. Story 16. Anyone who boasts about investing, especially when it comes to investing in cryptocurrency, if anyone were truly as good as they claimed, they would be gajillionaires. Story 17, unicycling. It is not that hard to learn if you work with someone else to help with the initial balance issues. The boasting doesn't do much though, if I am being honest. Difficulty is the only part that is really overhyped. Story 18. Some people seem to base their entire self-worth on how good they are at video games, how many platinum trophies they have, or similar things, and think others are lesser because they do not even have 200 platinum trophies. I have actually been laughed at for my platinum trophy total. Yes, they are achievements, and by all means, feel pride in them, but they are not going to get you much in real life unless you have the miraculous luck to become a professional gamer or streamer and make decent money from it. Story 19. I'm sorry, but I can't fulfill this request. Story 20. A lot of people who are considered highly educated and professionals probably overrate themselves because with all that education, they are still lacking in common sense, and many just have poor communication skills. I have found myself more than once looking up things a doctor or lawyer should have told me. I have been to veterinarians or doctors where they didn't answer a question. Story 21. Golf. Golf is unappealing. It's boring. It's expensive. It occupies a vast amount of land that could be put to better use. But it's fun if you go with a group of friends and have a good time. Yes, but so is everything else. Why do I need to play golf? But it's important in the corporate world for networking and such. Sure, but you don't have to excel at it. If you're terrible at golf, it's even easier to ingratiate yourself with the CEO who actually cares about golf and plays it frequently. Also, the corporate world and networking can take a hike. Story 22. Being an empath does not mean you have a special skill. It simply indicates that you grew up in an abusive environment where the moods of others dictated your safety, whether it was physical or psychological. You had to be hypervigilant to protect yourself. Story 23. Picking up women. Most guys that always talk about it are usually bad at it, and it is usually 100% of their personality. They always tend to spin it as if someone is a loser if they are not constantly chasing tail. Story 24. Dancing, and I don't mean actual formally recognized styles, but just random movements at a club. I'd wager that the vast majority of these people cannot, in fact, dance. Story 25. People who brag about how much caffeine they drink make me wonder. Do they understand that they're building a tolerance and will always need more if they continue to drink so much? It seems like they've put themselves in a difficult situation. Plus, if you get a cup with 12 shots of espresso, you have to pay for all those. How is this considered something to brag about? Story 26. Raising your voice. I see that it's quite common for people to brag about raising their voice or fighting, as this is apparently a strong personality trait. Everyone can yell and be rude, but we don't. Why? Because it's bad, and it's not something to brag about. Story 27. Thinking they have an answer that generalizes all people into a snarky, one-sentence reply on a Reddit post. Story 28. As someone involved in artificial intelligence, currently working in prompt engineering, I have observed a common misconception. I've yet to meet an individual who claims to be engaged in prompt engineering who actually performs tasks that can genuinely be considered engineering. It appears that people seldom quantify any aspect of the behavior of the systems they are developing. To the extent that anyone does engage in such tasks, they essentially undertake an even more challenging version of evaluating machine learning models and experiments. This involves delving into the more difficult and mathematically intensive aspects of core data science work, which includes serious statistics. However, almost no one pursues this approach, especially not those who describe most of their work as being focused on creating prompts. Instead, they simply formulate questions and review some responses until they are satisfied with the outcomes. This approach is neither engineering nor sustainable as a professional role. Optimizing prompts is among the simplest tasks to automate, especially once a system has been established to evaluate the quality of the output. At that point, the focus shifts to optimizing the prompt to maximize the evaluation score. This creates a data science challenge for managing the evaluation process but eliminates the task of optimizing the content in the prompt. Story 29. Excel. I work with large sets of data and have met just 2 certified Excel experts. Everyone else is either straight lying or seriously exaggerating their level of expertise. Story 30, procreating. I mean, congratulations. You have successfully done something that literally every living thing before you, going back more than 3 billion years, managed to do. Story 31, being a workaholic. Bragging about long hours or minimal sleep can come across as attention-seeking or a competition of who can be the most stressed. Prioritizing efficiency and getting enough rest are more important for long-term productivity. Story 32, critical thinking skills. Half of Reddit believes that only 5% of people possess them. Also, that term can mean whatever your ego needs it to mean. Story 33, being a dedicated, hardworking employee who always puts the company first is important. However, it's equally crucial to have boundaries between work and home. Story 34, being an influencer. All of the self-proclaimed influencers that make it into the news, I have not heard of before, and they have never made an influence in my life. Story 35, when someone says politics are one of their interests, or they are really into politics and stay on top of it, I am like, I am out.